All right, Red Zone DFS. We got week 7, already 7 weeks in. This is insane. How you boys doing?
Doing good, man. How are you? Ready to turn this week around, man?
Yeah, last week was crazy. I felt like I was on a lot of really strong plays where I would have 6 or 7 guys in my lineup, doing really well. I did not have a lot of Derrick Henry, which obviously didn't play out very well for me. I was looking good until about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter of that game. And then I just had a few flops, 1 or 2 guys in a lineup that just didn't perform, and so I'm in cash, in a decent amount, not a lot, but it definitely didn't return what I was thinking, halfway through the morning games.
Yeah. I'm looking for a massive bounce back week after last weekend, because I was in Nevada where you can't upload new DraftKings lineups. So I got all my stuff in on Friday, and I was able to edit some lineups Sunday morning with my eyes all glossed over, very hungover. And about 30 minutes into the games in the morning, I just stopped checking my phone because they were doing that bad. It was not my best weekend as a person and as a DraftKinger. So this week is going to be a bounce back week. Comeback time.
Yeah. Well, I was texting you guys. I was in second place in a pretty big GPP up until about 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then the Titanic got a hole punctured into it and started just absolutely going down. So that was really unfortunate watching it just slip away. But, it is what it is.
Obviously, we're all going to be on somewhat similar guys. So I was in a similar position, and, Derrick Henry, that very long Derrick Henry run, similar to, I'm sure, what Kenyon Drake did to a few people. Did me in pretty good. I broke even.
Well, the Kenyon Drake stands, they finally hit. They went 1 for 7 this year.
When Henry broke loose, because Henry's kind of the most polarizing player, I think, in the NFL, for how big he is and everything. But the minute he broke the second level, I thought he was gone, and you just reach for your TV, no. I don't have him, and this is about to be an 80-yard touchdown. Oh my God.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
that's going to happen weekly, right?
Yeah. I did hit a golf outright last week. Jason Kokrak, 90-1, baby. Woo!
Saved your week a little bit. So sweet. What?
And by the way, happy birthday to our podcaster Jimmy Mack.
Oh yeah, maybe bring a little bit of luck here this week for us. So
hey.
I absolutely killed it this week at work. So hopefully we just rub some of that birthday swag off into the weekend.
I will not let you talk me into another Alexander Madison, who I had 0 shares of heading into our show last week and ended up with a fair amount, but he was the right play. He just
that was my only win last week. I was fully off on Madison based off his skill level. He ain't gonna replace the skill of Cook. And
mine was just the chalk.
The whole
piece.
time I was just sitting there, even though I didn't make any money last week, I was just sitting there going, well, at least I was right on Madison.
You're able to sleep at night. I love it. All right, Jim, why don't you kick us off on running back for week 7 here? Where are we going?
Yeah, look, we're starting at the top, right? We got the news that Michael Thomas is going to be out for this game. It's the Alvin Kamara show. He's going to be moderately chalky, but he's not going to be chalky enough for me to not play him. I can get weird everywhere else if I want to, but at 15 to 20%, just sign me up.
Yeah.
I really like he's just going to get it all. Emmanuel Sanders on the COVID list. Who the hell else are they going to throw the ball to? Right. It's just he might get
is this a Taysom Hill week?
Oh God, I hope not. I hope he snaps his leg, and we never hear from that guy again.
That's not going to happen.
I
might get 2 touchdowns this week.
There's a few guys in the game I like at the other positions we'll talk about for pay downs, but I'm with you. Kamara is the guy. He's probably going to get like 45% of the target share in the run and pass game in this.
He also might end up going 45% owned by the time Sunday starts. I'm not going to lie. I'm with you, Jim. I think I'll eat that, especially with the receiver slate we got this week.
I don't think so. And then another guy that I was actually stoked to play that I don't know, I guess maybe it was wishful thinking that he wasn't going to be too chalky is Aaron Jones. Going up against one of the worst run defenses in the whole NFL, super involved in the pass game as always. His games haven't been as big when Devontae Adams is in there. So that gave me a little bit of trepidation. And he's gaining a lot of ownership. It's one of those things where it's like, I really do want to play this guy, but like it may just get to a point where his ownership is just too much for me.
Dude, I think that ankle injury that popped up today is going to take, or calf injury is going to take a ton of people off of them.
So if when I check back on Sunday morning and if he drops under 20%, I'll stay with him. But if he continues to build at 23, 24, 25 into the high 20s, I'll just move off of him. There's other people that I like more. Dropping down a little bit. One guy that's projected on the projections that I'm looking at to be the highest owned running back of the week is Kareem Hunt. I'd like to play him, but again, at 25%, 26, 27% ownership, I'll gladly go down $400 and play all of the Chris Carson against a terrible, terrible Arizona run defense. And in the late night hammer that no one's going to play. Like, here's the thing is that like all of us know and all of us realize that like this game's still on the slate, but like people go like, oh, well, that's moved to the Sunday night game. A lot of players, I want to say probably 50% of the people who play on DK put in their lineup on Friday and just don't even fucking look at it until the slate's over on Sunday, right? They don't late swap. They don't swap onto a lot of this stuff. So Chris Carson is a guy that I have a lot of interest to and one of the highest game totals of the whole week. And he's just going to be one of those sneakier plays.
Just the fact that you can have a player going on the Sunday slate for the night game.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like that's what we want, right? We want that last minute player to give me that first place, you know,
he's going to get the touches and which we'll get into. He's a crazy good leverage play. Like everyone has been talking for 7 weeks that let Russ cook and all this stuff. Like Seattle is a passing team now in everybody's minds. Like they're going to go to Metcalf, lock it, and bring it back with Hopkins. Like, but Chris Carson can snipe 20 points in his sleep. You know,
Carson has proven that when he gets inside the 5-yard line, he's an absolute machine. He's got a nose for the end zone. Chris Carson doesn't get denied in the end zone.
Well, and it's proven at their core, the Seattle Seahawks will run the ball when they can. They just haven't been able to stop anybody. Now that might be the case here in this game too. But if Carlos Hyde's out again, which is looking like he's gonna be, and if he suits out, it's gonna be for emergency purposes only. That's a guy that I really like. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is another guy coming in at under 10% ownership on my projections. That in a kind of a crappy weather game in Denver, I'll have all of that. Dropping all the way down, I mean, the big one that everyone's going to be talking about, obviously, is Giovanni Bernard. It's going to come down to an ownership thing for me. We were talking about.
So I got him. I got Giovanni at 12.5 right now, which is surely going to gain momentum over the weekend because that's Mixon's news just came out today.
Yeah,
and he's already at 12.5. I can see that bumping up quite a bit.
So for me. And a guy that I liked before that news came out, you have to pay up a little bit more to get to him, but it's Antonio Gibson at $5,000 versus Dallas.
Yes.
There's a couple guys, obviously we'll talk about it when we get to the wide receivers, but you know, if I'm going to be playing a lot of the Potatoes defense this week, I'm definitely going to play their running back. And it's only a matter of time that this guy gets like 80 to 85% of the carries.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera is, everyone likes to call him Riverboat Ron and blah, 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 blah. But if we just look at the last few years when he had Christian McCaffrey on his team, when he could, he would just pound the rock to McCaffrey. I mean, there was games where McCaffrey had like 34 carries, and people are like, "Oh, are you scared of getting McCaffrey hurt?" And he's like, "No, like who cares?"
If Ron Rivera had one wish, it would be to be back in 1985 with a solid defense and Walter Payton. That's all Ron Rivera wants.
Big time.
He's running the ball.
I also don't care. I will play anybody versus Dallas right now. Like 100%. I, for a quick second, looked to play Kyle Allen. And then I took a deep breath.
I'm not surprised.
That wild, but
I'm not surprised by this, but I kind of am surprised. It's at a pick'em right now. The Dallas Cowboys, insane. 7 weeks ago, the Washington Potatoes, they're at a fucking pick'em.
The Redskins are going to beat the Cowboys outright.
It's going to be a game.
Yeah.
It's going to end up 23-20, right? And
no, I don't think it's even that close, dude. The Redskins at least are trying. The Cowboys flat out quit Monday night. They lost another offensive lineman. Zeke is completely checked out because
as we're on running backs, let's talk Zeke for a second. As low owned as he's going to go,
so
you have a bounce back week, right? But again, I think the whole team has quit on McCarthy.
I'm off.
So that's fine. Zeke is too stupid to quit. He'll just keep playing.
He's got the clown hair.
Dude, he's got the clown hair. He's got the bull ring. I mean, come on, like the guy, he knows how to do nothing else but play football. Like a guy like Amari Cooper is a guy who just say, "Fuck it."
He's also a guy though, Jim, that like he just got paid. Right. So like he's kind of in my opinion, he's not like, oh, I still need to go earn that money.
Right.
Like
but that offensive line is gone.
Completely gone.
Everybody. That best offensive line in the league 3 years ago is gone. No one's on the field right now.
And what is the Redskins' strength? It's defensive line. And I have to imagine Ron Vera is going to put 8 in the box and say, I know you have these amazing weapons. Andy Dalton, if you can torch us, good luck. Because after what I saw Monday night, like that's
Zeke at 7.8.
He may be, but I'm not playing him.
But the reality is, I think Zeke should be more at the 6,600, right? Like with what he's got going on, the offensive line, the team is shit. Like everything's bad. Like 7,800 for me it's just too much for that right now.
So I'm playing him, and I'm playing him for the pure simple fact that you guys just alluded to it. He got 8 targets in that game the other night. He didn't even play that much because of his fumbling issues. If he's going to get 8 targets again, I mean, look, the old Potatoes have a pretty good pass rush, but Andy Dalton, I mean, it's the same reason why we loved playing Joe Mixon and Giovanni Bernard back on the Bengals. Like when the Bengals had no offensive line and the Red Rocket was just getting absolutely bowled over, he just threw dumb passes to Giovanni Bernard, who wasn't even the main back, and he was like a top 10 fantasy running back.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I just can't pay a premium for that. Like I'll play Derrick Henry versus the number 1 rush defense of a team that's gonna just absolutely play their ass off and try to win this game versus the Cowboy season's over.
Yeah. And Jim, that's where I was looking at Zeke too. And I feel like I have to have him somewhere. I got to put him in some places because of the target range. But what we've kind of alluded to all year is staying away from just shit teams with shit things going on. And the Cowboys right now, it's just shit. Their defense has already been shit. Their offense has gotten shittier as the season's gone on. I just don't think Zeke is going to be a focal point. I mean, Andy Dalton might throw 55 passes with a 55% completion percentage.
Well, okay.
And I feel like that's how the game's going to run.
If Andy Dalton's going to throw 55 passes, Zeke's getting 11 targets.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
And we're playing on a site in DK where all he has to do is score 1 touchdown, catch 6 balls for like 40 yards, and then rush for another like 45 yards. And at 9% ownership, like that's cool with me. Like I'll take it. I'm taking on him. I'm playing some bigger tournaments this weekend. I'm playing a bunch in the $9 slant. So I'm going to have to take some of these plays to get away from the chalk up top.
Yeah, no doubt.
And Zeke is just a guy that I'm playing in a lot of those lineups. I'm not playing him in my single entry or 3 max, but those bigger tournaments, like the big $12, I'm playing him in. Just because there's so many people, I want to get away from a little bit. And then kind of the last guy that I'm in on is James White, coming in at 4,900, less than 3% ownership. I don't understand how he's less than 3% owned. He's the guy that no matter, that's a wild backfield to deal with, but I think I personally think that the Niners are going to do quite well in this game, and that the Packers are going to be in a similar game script as last week. And James White had 14 points last week, so I'll take it.
Yeah, for that one, I can't trust Patriots in DraftKings. Like, I'll take a flyer in a season-long league if I have to for a week, but it just scares me if a week like Rex Burkhead takes 3 touchdowns away from James White. And the potential of that is so much higher than any other team or any other running back that happened to, unless they get injured.
Where are you
Patriots
going?
scare the shit out of me. I love Kamara this week. I mean, obviously, like if he's above 30%, I'm going to lean away from him in a lot of lineups. But I feel like I can leverage a little bit this week and go pretty high at running back, and I can drop down a receiver. There's a lot of low-end receivers I just love this week. So I honestly really like lineups with Kamara. I feel like I need to sprinkle a Zeke in there, just like what you said, Jim. I mean, who else is Andy Dalton going to throw to? Because guys like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and Gallup, they're the ones that are going to be hurt from Andy Dalton, not Zeke. But does Zeke actually care at this point? Who knows? My mid-range guys, I love Kareem Hunt. I'll eat the chalk on it if he's 25% or below. Carson, love it. I'm loving Carson. I'm more and more on Carson the more I think about it. I like Gurley at 6K against the Lions. More as like, I'm going to play a lot of Matt Ryan, Julio stacks as well. On my opposite stacks, I kind of want to go with Gurley, just sneaking some touchdowns in there. I think last week was kind of a dud for him because they were just throwing the shit out of the ball. But, Gurley has a nose for the end zone. He always has. So I'm looking for a 2-touchdown week from Gurley at 6K. I love that. I'm really liking Singletary at 5.8. And Singletary is going against the Jets, and he's projected below 8% right now.
Yeah, he's a guy that I have in my player pool that I haven't built any lineups with him yet because I was waiting to see where the ownership goes.
He is at right now.
If it's going to stay that 4% low
for me.
Yeah, I will have quite 4%, a bit of that this week.
Yeah, 4% at 5,800 against the Jets. That the Bills are going to be ahead. I mean, the Bills have been in situations where Josh Allen's got to throw, he's got to make plays, he's got to do things. That didn't happen this week. No, Singletary's going to get 18 plus carries, no doubt. So 18 plus carries, I need 18 points from Singletary. I'll take that. And the last one, if Bernard's, my low own guy is Bernard, but it depends on if his ownership hangs on. If his ownership's over 15%, I'm not touching it. I'm going up at running back this week. Like I said, I love Kamara. I love Hunt. I love Carson. I'll go down for Gurley and Singletary, and that's as low as I'm going to go.
All right.
Cool. Yeah. I'm with you guys. Kamara is a great play. Obviously, I really like him and Jones up at the top. As I mentioned, I'm fading Zeke for a lot of reasons, but I just think there's better plays and better games and opportunities. So I'll have a splash of Kamara and Jones for sure, but I'm definitely not.
Well, hold on, Vinny. Let's talk about Jones real quick because you're on him.
Yeah.
I was on Jones in every single lineup this week, and he has a mysterious calf injury that pops up. And Jamal Williams is stealing touches from him more and more, and it's driving me fucking bananas, dude.
Yeah,
like
I'm definitely not all in on this guy.
It's why I didn't even mention him. I don't even have him on my lineup anymore. Like I'm just like whatever.
Early in the week, my thought was like go all in on this guy, right? Like he's going to bounce back the whole Packers team. I still think the Packers absolutely smoked the Texans after last week and getting kind of embarrassed in Tampa, but I just think there's a lot of ways that Jones gets kind of cut out of the game plan here, especially if they get up 2 or 3 touchdowns. Like I could see that happening. So I will have some of him in tournaments, but it's not going to be all in like I was. Kamara's in the best spot. I also think Kareem Hunt is right there as far as best spot. Like Bengals are atrocious. The Browns do have a good offensive line. And if Stefanski has a brain, which we think he does, the one thing that like this season has taught us through 6 weeks is do not let Baker Mayfield like run the game. Like do not put the ball in his hands. So they are going to hammer Kareem Hunt. He's the one guy I'm not afraid to eat the chalk on. I think they're going to just absolutely run the shit out of the ball against them. So I dig Kareem Hunt. I like Carson a lot. Same thing as you guys. I mean, I like the passing game there too, but depending on the chalk there, like I may go Carson a lot heavier just because it's a leverage play there. But 2 guys that you guys kind of mentioned or didn't mention in the mid-level that I'm really on. If this game plays, I really like Ronald Jones. The Raiders are completely decimated. I don't think Brady and them are going to have to like lean on the passing game a whole lot here. They're going to run the football. So I think Ronald Jones in the smash spot here. He's gotten, increasing snaps and rushes and touches over the last couple of weeks. Like it just makes so much sense. And James Conner is the other guy. I don't know why. I don't play a lot of James Conner, but like you look at him and look at what he's done, like it's undeniable.
I've been playing James Conner almost every week.
Dude, he is the best. So by the way, James Conner for me, if I played more cash games, he is a cash game legend. That guy is getting you 16 points no matter what.
That's my only fear.
It does. That's what gets me every time. His floor is crazy high. His ceiling is near his floor for me.
That's my only fear is like his upside is limited because Ben is going to want to throw the ball around. And I know the Steelers defense is awesome, but the Titans have been really good. If this game does happen to turn into a shootout, like, he's kind of limited, right? So, but I think he's in a great spot.
I love Conner week to week. I just didn't like the spot this week personally, but week to week, I do love Conner, man. He gets me 15 points every week minimum.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem to turn out the money, So I don't think his value is quite there.
Solid.
But
yeah,
he's
solid. He's a great player.
He's a guy I like to play in the high dollar tournaments that have like 1,000 entries or less. Because those are traditionally tournaments. When you squeeze down the amount of entrants, it takes less amount of points to win you a GPP, especially when you're talking about single entry, which I am. So those are the lineups I get to guys like Carson and like Connor, because like those guys have just like built-in floors. But like I disagree with you guys. Like James Conner could have 3 touchdowns, no problem, right? And that's kind of like the counterpoint to what you guys were talking about earlier with Jones. Like, yes, I think they're gonna smoke the Texans, but like Jones could have 2 touchdowns and like 120 yards in the first half and then just be like, oh, okay. And like, you'd like him to keep playing, but like at the end of the day, if he gets you that stat line, then you're good.
So, and here's why I mentioned these guys, right? Like Ronald Jones, 6,200. I mean, if he gets me 2 touchdowns in the first half and 85 yards, like I'm at value.
But with Ronald Jones, there's like not really anybody else behind him either.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Well,
right. Like
they're saying Fournette is back this week, which yes, I know. I'm not playing Fournette. What scares me is that Arians just goes, okay, Fournette's splitting carries this week. And you go, fuck me.
And granted, anybody has upside, right? Like could go at that magical, Claypool type game. I just think with Connor, his upside's limited because there's so many good players in Pittsburgh. Like there's 6 guys legitimately that could go off any game. Deontay Johnson's back. Ben's got his full arsenal for this game. Like I do think they're going to lean on him because they don't want Tannehill rolling with it, but that's my only like concern. I'm not really like concerned with it.
Yeah, I mean like the thing I like about the Connor play is that Mike Tomlin's a smart coach.
Yeah, totally.
They're going to go back. Like there's a reason why their defense is so good year in and year out. Maybe doesn't even have the best players.
Yeah.
But like it's like Belichick, right? It's like, okay, well, like Derrick Henry has looked okay. So, but I think the Steelers can stop him with 6 or 7 guys in the box. I don't think they need to load the box up to stop Derrick Henry. They have athletic enough players, right?
Well, they'll just adjust, right? Like if Henry's kind of mowing them down, like Tom will move guys up, like he'll change things up, and get crazy.
And then he's going to make them take away, and then he's going to make he's just going to take away AJ Brown.
Yeah.
And say, okay, if Ryan Tannehill is going to throw to Adam Humphries and some of these other guys and like Jonnu Smith and Ferkser, like we'll take our chance against those guys and we'll stop Henry and Brown. And I just don't think that, and like you said, they've been rolling. The Texans, the Titans really want to play an up pace like type of tempo, which they didn't last year. It's really paid off with Tannehill, right? Like he's rolling right now. So they're going to try and shut him down. Connor's a guy who's going to be low owned.
That's the only reason.
I personally think he has a bigger upside than most people do. So I definitely have him in my player pool this week. I don't know how much exposure I'll have to him yet, but I definitely will be playing him as I've played him every single week.
Yeah. And a few of the lower end guys that I really dig, I really like Gibson. Like I mentioned, I'm all in on anybody who's like worthy as an NFL player versus Dallas, right? And he's one of those guys. So
he's good, man.
Give me some Gibson. Geo, again, depending on ownership, I'll have a little bit of Geo. The one sneaky play that I have down low that will get me exposure to the low end game and get me off chalk is kind of a leverage play is I will have some Chase Edmonds. And the reasoning is everybody's going to go to Drake after his performance on last Monday.
100%.
Chase Edmonds is the receiving back and the passing downs back for this team.
Yep.
If Seattle and Russ are cooking and they get out to a huge lead and this game is a shootout, which everyone's projecting, Edmonds will be the running back, not Kenyon Drake. So give me Chase Edmonds as kind of a sneaky, I'm hoping like under 5% play while Drake is 20% and rides the bench for $100 more.
No, I think that's the most logical thing said on the podcast so far.
That's my
Chase Edmonds play. I think it's great.
That's my dude. I'll roll with it. Like I'll play him over Geo too.
Because I think Seattle's gonna score a minimum of 35 points against the Cardinals. And you're right, Vince. Edmonds is gonna be the guy.
The Cardinals are just gonna have more opportunities overall than I think that Giovanni Bernard will have against the Browns.
Well, Cleveland can stop the run. Like
Cleveland's not a bad defense, man. Cleveland's defense, their pass rush gets the hype, but their defense is pretty solid.
I think they're running.
Just like the Madison thing last week.
Edmonds
because Giovanni Bernard is replacing Mixon doesn't make him Joe Mixon.
Exactly.
Correct.
Just like Madison going in for Cook, it doesn't make him Cook.
Exactly.
Giovanni Bernard, the Browns defense is still legit.
Yep.
Edmonds is coming in at about 1% owned.
Fuck. Cue him up. I might have like 80% Edmonds.
Dude, 180 yard touchdown with one carry. One break.
I don't have Drake as quite as high. I don't know where you got the 20% ownership. I've got him at around 11%.
I was just thinking of all the like noobs who like will build their lineups and be like, oh my God, 4,800 Kenyon Drake breakout game and in a shootout.
In lower dollar tournaments, 100%, he's going to be probably closer to 20% owned. I think
I have him at 7% right now.
Yeah, in higher dollar tournaments,
which is actually it's still top 10.
Yeah, I'll just go to Edmonds over Drake. I mean, that's fine.
For sure. All right, let's hit some quarterbacks into receivers. Joe, who's your top, let's say 2 or 3 quarterbacks, and then who's like maybe a sneaky quarterback down low?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with my high end first. My high end, I love Rodgers at 7K. Houston's defense is absolute shit. Rodgers is coming in at 6.8% right now. I mean, I'll take him all the way up to 15 to 20 this week against Houston. So if I'm going to pay up for a quarterback, I'm going Rodgers. I also like Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan around 5%, same deal. Matt Ryan goes on hot streaks. He goes on cold streaks. He's got Julio. When Julio's in, Matt Ryan goes off. Julio isn't even questionable this week, and he's going against Jeff Okudah and a broken ass Desmond Trufant. Julio So the Matt Ryan Julio thing might go nuts this week. And if that ownership stays below around 5%, I might go every lineup Matt Ryan this week at 6.7. So that's my favorite. If that ownership starts bumping up, I'm going to change it up a little bit. My mid-tier guys are Stafford and Herbert, 6,500 and 6,400. Herbert's my favorite guy because it's in LA. Jacksonville is traveling, on Saturday, tomorrow, to Los Angeles, and they're a terrible team on top of that. Herbert can throw. Everyone on the Chargers seems to be very low priced. I love my Herbert stacks as long as the ownership pans out. Am I still going to play a few if the ownership goes up? Sure. But if I see them down low, I might go full Charger stacks all the way through and just go for it. Jacksonville traveling all the way across the country and only having a day to prepare. I mean, this game can be an absolute shit show. So my mid-tier guys, I like Stafford just as the opposite of Atlanta, right? He's got to do some things, but Detroit just doesn't look in sync, even though he's hitting those balls to Golladay. He had him on a couple of big plays last week. Detroit just doesn't look like the way it was in the past. So I've always been on Stafford, but this week I'm starting to shrug my shoulders a little bit and think, do I still roll with it? Low end, these are my darts. Jimmy G going into New England.
Yes.
I mean, at 5,300, man, you can do anything with your lineup with a $5,300 quarterback. You can almost do anything you want. So I like Jimmy G. I don't quite like pairing it up with Kittle this week, but I do like pairing up with some Debo. Debo is looking like an absolute stud and an absolute threat in the NFL right now. And my absolute dart of all darts is Sam Darnold. And this is a lineup I'm doing almost in. This is a Millie lineup only. Millie lineup only. He is 0.7% owned. And I'm telling you, Sam Darnold's still not bad. I mean, it's Adam Gase. It's the team. The team is shit, and I get it. And this is a one lineup, 1 milli. Let's go. He is 5K. He's getting Perryman back this week. He's got Crowder. He's got his O-line. I'm not saying they're going to win or be a good team or anything like that. But Sam Darnold at 5K, I can almost leverage anything I want. I could play Kamara and Zeke.
If you cap,
I do a Darnold Perryman lineup, right? So again, this is a milli maker. I'm going for first place. I'm not just trying to make the money. It's all or nothing. So that's my last guy.
So if you're playing him in a milli maker, like realistically, how many points are you expecting out of him? 20?
5K. If I can get 15 plus, I'm winning.
But that's not going to win you a tournament.
No, right. But again, the Jets are playing the Bills, and the Bills, I know their defense, people are like scared of it. And yeah, they have a good defense, but they've been giving up points. I mean, the over-under of this game is 46. And if you're telling me that the Bills are going to put up, 35, and the Jets are going to put up 11, sure, that might happen. But I don't know. I just see this game going a little bit closer. And he's got no one else. I mean, he's going to throw the ball like crazy. Unless he sees ghosts and just starts throwing picks. Again, this is my ring toss game at the carnival. This is I'm fucking just throwing it.
Your only saving grace if you do that is you have to almost play a full game stack, right? Because you got to hope that it goes
100%
so bananas.
100%. And that stack that I have with Darnold, I actually have Herndon. And we'll talk about that later.
Dude, don't do that.
I know.
No. You play Diggs, you play Crowder, and you play like Perryman.
This is one lineup. I'm going to pick either Perryman or Crowder.
No, play them both. Because you got to hope that he goes so nuts.
I know. Exactly. And again, who wins these tournaments? The guy that knows what the fuck he's doing. This person's got better matchups, all that. And that's what we're doing. This is how we make money in DFS. Absolutely. My Darnold lineup is going for it.
All I'm saying
absolutely going for it.
I don't think
Herndon
gets the opportunities, right? It's like Perryman is supposed to be back, supposedly, I think. Mm-hmm. You got to go like Darnold, Perryman, and Crowder and bring it back with like Diggs and Gabe Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Like you got to hope this game goes over like 70 points.
No doubt. And like I said, guys, if I play 10 lineups, 4 of them are going Herbert, 4 of them are going Ryan, 1's going Jimmy G, 1's going Darnold. Right, I'm not playing him in more than one, and I'm not playing Darnold in a cash game. I'm playing Darnold in the milli.
Yeah, exactly.
He's at 0.7 owned. and you just gotta say fuck it sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and that shit, it's the NFL, guys. Shit happens.
All right.
Shit happens. There's two New York teams going against each other. There's no travel. Darnold's had 2 weeks off. Yeah, he's had his injury, but he's fine. There's no Le'Veon.
He hears Trevor Lawrence coming for his property. So.
He hears Trevor Lawrence coming for him.
All right.
Fuck it. But honestly, guys, my guys are Ryan's my guy with Herbert. I'll sneak maybe some Stafford and Rodgers in there, and Jimmy G and Darnold are absolute darts. Ring toss at the carnival. Hopefully you hit.
All right.
Okay.
Jimbo?
All
right.
Wild man.
Yeah, I mean
John Wayne over here.
I mean, I get what he's talking about, but I just think there's other plays where you can accomplish that have a higher ceiling. Because Darnold is coming back from an injury, and he could re-injure his shoulder and be out in the first quarter. So
yeah, I
that shoulder injury, by the way, I don't think he's re-injuring it. It's one of those things. It's an aggravation, and but when you're back, you're back.
Yeah, I'm not going to really spend too much time on talking about
Millie, so but my top guy for the week is Deshaun Watson. As we said, Rodgers is just going to come out absolutely firing the ball. I think they're going to get steamrolled. But again, I think that's one where the Packers get up big and they just start running the ball, kind of like we talked about. They give the ball to Williams. They give the ball to Dillon. They give the ball to Jones. You know, I like Rodgers, and I'm going to play Rodgers in a few, but Deshaun Watson is going to be by far and away my highest owned quarterback. Next is for me is going to be when we're going down the pricing, is going to be Kyler Murray. Again, he's playing in the night game. He's $800 cheaper than Russ Wilson, and I think has more opportunity for a higher ceiling because of his rushing. Russ runs the ball too, but nowhere near as much as Kyler's doing now. A few years ago, it's what Russ was doing, and Russ was just blowing it out, right? So I like Kyler Murray dropping down a little bit.
So Kyler right now, he has 11.5% ownership, which is not bad, but he is the highest right now.
Yeah, I don't really care about quarterback ownership this week. There's so many guys in play that no one's really going to be over 10 or 11%. If he gets up to 12%, I really don't care. That for just looking at it for ownership this week, that's not going to be my determining factor in playing quarterbacks. I'm just going to play the guys I want to play. Another two guys I like, Herbert and Ryan. I'm right there with you on those two guys, Joe. I like Herbert's. He's got a little bit of a rushing ability. He's got some amazing matchups. I love the guys you can get to stack with him. I'm going to have a ton of Keenan Allen this week. I'm going to have a ton of Hunter. I'm going to have a ton of Hunter Henry this week. Yeah, like Joey said, Keenan Allen just mispriced. So those are two guys like kind of up at the top that I'm going to be going to at quarterback. If we start to drop down, one guy that we didn't really talk about, and I don't know why he's priced a little bit lower. He's still at the top end, but Mahomes at 7,400.
Don't take my guy.
No one's talking about Mahomes, and I don't really know why, because they're playing Denver. And I know that they want to run the ball, and I know they ran the ball for, the most that listen to the stat, the most that any Andy Reid team has ever run the ball for. That's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row. And Vic Fangio is just not going to let that happen, right? If there's one weakness that Mahomes has, if you get him off his spot a little bit and move him around, you can hit him, right? I just think this is a massive Mahomes and Hill week. Nobody's really talking about Tyreek Hill. No one's really talking about Mahomes. So those are two guys that I'm going to go to. Not in a ton of lineups, but I'm going to have full fade on Brady, full fade on Ben Roethlisberger. I think I'm full fading Stafford.
But wait. Jonathan Abram, one of the worst safeties in football, is not playing against Brady this week at 2% owned.
That's great. So he's going to torch some other guy who's even worse than Abrams. He's just not going to throw enough, I don't think. A lot of people I heard out there making a case for Breeze this week at a really low ownership. I'll pass. Yeah, exactly. I really want to get to Joe Burrow and play some Joe Burrow. 5,500.
Let me hit on Burrow. Okay.
You can talk about Burrow. I would rather just play some ancillary parts to get to him. Like I would rather just play T. Higgins by himself. I just don't know if I might have one Burrow lineup. Other than that, it's going to be a game stack. If we're dropping down, I really like Garoppolo. I mean, without Raheem Mostert, the Niners are going to have to get creative, and they just don't have guys who are great at running the ball outside of Raheem Mostert. So it's going to be a lot of short passes from Jimmy, a lot of those little 3-foot passes that go for passes and go for touchdowns, right? Like Joey said, I love pairing him with Debo. I love pairing him with Jerick McKinnon. I am going to have some Kittle this week. The guy that I think is my Sam Darnold play is Kyle Allen. $200 more than Darnold. I love McLaurin this week. I love McLaurin this week. Okay.
You all know how much I hate McLaurin. Yeah, I'm on McLaurin this week.
If I love McLaurin and I love Gibson, I'm just going to play Kyle Allen in a lot of those lineups at $5,200. He's the guy that against an absolutely worthless team in Dallas. Buffalo is not a worthless team. They don't have like the world beater defense, but they're not a worthless defense. Dallas is a worthless defense right now. 100% worthless. And they're playing at home.
So my only argument where I'm going to go back to Darnold, my only argument with that is Jets are going to be down. Darnold's going to have to throw. They can't run. They have Frank Gore. They can't run. Opportunities are going to be there, whether they're good opportunities or not. I think that Washington-Dallas game is just going to be a nasty, grind out, who can get the ball last type of game. And that's and I was thinking Kyle Allen too, Jim. I think honestly I was all on it because Dallas' defense is fucking dog shit. But that was my only takeaway where I was like, I think that's going to be more of a game pace, grind out game. And the Jets game is the Jets are just going to have to be throwing the ball. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't.
I can't get there because like what's the top end for Kyle Allen? Like 20 maybe.
Yeah. And that goes back to your point, Jim. Can it win you a tournament, right?
So if in order to win you a tournament, the quarterback needs to get you at least 30 points. It's if you go back and look at everything this year, barring some very, very odd lineups hitting, in most cases, top 5 in tournaments, your quarterback is giving you 28 points or more. I think in this game, he has that legitimate upside because I think he could throw at least 2 touchdowns to just McLaurin. And then you're at 2 touchdowns. I think he easily has 4 touchdown upside. I don't know if he's going to throw for 300 yards, but if you throw for 4 touchdowns and throw for 280, I mean, you're there essentially, right? I mean, they don't have the greatest offensive line in the world. I would love for them to be able to run the ball more with Gibson, but the fact of the matter is they're just not that equipped to do that. The Packers did get both of their linebackers back, so they have Van Der Esch and Smith back. So they're going to have to throw the ball. I think this is going to be – I think this game goes over the total. Maybe not by much, but, right now it's at a total of 49.5. I think it gets to 53, 54. And I think Washington, wins.
It's at 45.5 right now.
Oh, it's the last – so, I think it goes way – I think it gets over 50.
Yeah, I saw that 45.5. Right here.
So, I mean, I like Washington winning like a 35-21, 35-23 type of game. And I think, out of those 5 touchdowns, I think at least 4 of them could be throwing. He could even sneak one in down the goal line. He can run a little bit. Like we've seen him, if you go back to last year when he was playing for Carolina, he was playing on, again, a shit team with decent weapons. He had Christian McCaffrey, so that's a little bit different, right? But still, he put up some big points last year, and he won some people some tournaments. So, like, if I'm going all the way down there, he's healthy. He's going to get the run the whole time. and he's not Sam Darnold. So
yeah,
that's all.
I see it. I mean, 5,100. Why not throw a bullet or two in there?
Yeah, 5,200. I mean, just
why not?
Sign
All right.
me up.
Well, I might have to speed this up a little bit. So I'll just rifle through. You guys are on most of the same guys I am. Up top, I really like Kyler. He'll be probably my highest owned quarterback. One, I don't know why, just a gut thing. I just like playing the late night hammer. Kyler is obviously electric. He's going to run a ton. If he can just connects for 2 passing touchdowns on top of his rushing ability, like he's hitting huge value. And Seattle has just been getting shredded by every quarterback that's played him this year. So I love Kyler. I will also be playing a ton of Rodgers off of a beatdown. I don't know if you guys saw in all of his interviews this week, the guy was like just pissing on reporters and like fighting with everybody. Like
he's pissed off.
I dig a pissed off Rodgers. So
I do too.
I love that. So Kyler and Rodgers up top for me. I do like the Ryan Stafford back and forth. I'll have a little bit of that in that game where both teams suck. Both defenses are terrible, but they do have some electric weapons. So that's a sneaky shootout. I like Herbert, like you guys talked about, for all those reasons. Jacksonville's an embarrassment, and Herbert's coming off of a bye. I am not afraid to play him with Keenan and Mike Williams and just go for it on that one.
Hey.
And then the last guy that I don't know why, I just have a really sneaky feeling about Joe Burrow. Without Joe Mixon, they are going to have no choice but to throw the football. Burrow is maybe unlike Kyle Allen and Sam Darnold, yet to be proven, although Adam Gase is there. Joe Burrow's an NFL quarterback, and the last time they played Cleveland, he threw it 60 times, and they just went ham trying to beat him. I think that's the way to beat Cleveland, and I think they're going to have to air it out. And I think everyone that's going to Geo, this is kind of a sneaky leverage play again. Like, people are going to be on Geo. I don't think many people are going to play Geo with Burrow and with T. Higgins. So I'm going to go Higgins and Burrow. And, Burrow's thrown for 300 yards 3 of the last 4 games. He didn't throw for any touchdowns last week and still connected for like 18, 19 DK points. So if he connects on
like 3
2
weeks
touchdowns, like, he's at that 26, 28, possibly 30, point range, which, Jim, you were talking about to win a GPP. Like, it's not crazy. So I think
he could get there on volume alone.
Yeah.
I mean, he can easily. I mean, I have one lineup built with him right now. It's not with Giovanni Bernard because I just don't think that that's the way to go. I have a stack with Burrow, Boyd, and T. Higgins, and then run it back with Hunt the other way. Like that. That's how I would prefer to get leverage on this game. I mean, like we said, we just keep going back. If I'm going to pay down somewhere, I'd rather pay down for Burrow and pay up at running back with that savings rather than pay down for Gio and pay up for a quarterback, just because the mean average of quarterback scores are going to be much closer together compared to the running backs.
Yeah.
Right. High level running backs are always going to have, like we talked about with James Conner, some of these other guys, even one guy we didn't running back for the Jags, he's 6,200. Like, you can use that savings to go get one of those guys who is going to get all the volume and is not going against a great defense, as opposed to Giovanni Bernard, who's a midget, and like it's going to be bad weather. Like, how much are they really going to use him? And if it was Andy Dalton still playing quarterback for the Bengals, I would be playing Gio Bernard in 100% of my lineups. But it's not like you mentioned, Vinny. He's just hucking it down the field.
Yeah, Burrow's going to go for it. He's not afraid. The Bengals have shown they have confidence in him just to turn the keys over to him and let him go. Yep. And so I don't even care if Cleveland jumps out to a lead. That's even better. Great. Like, I hope they do and let Burrow just absolutely go off. So, all right, I'll kind of lead that right into receivers. So up top, Hopkins, obviously, if I'm going Kyler. Although, I need to see what kind of the ownership is. It is a little bit sneaky to go like Christian Kirk and Chase Edmonds stack with Kyler. I know Hopkins is unbelievable and he's amazing and all these things, but for 8,200, it's just something to toy around. I think he's amazing. Every stack I can fit him into, I'll get him.
So he's in my projections. I've got him between, obviously depending on the tournament, right? But somewhere between 12 and 16%.
So that's not bad. Yeah.
At that, like, just
give
me all of the Hopkins. I think totally. A lot of the things, he's got that Q tag on his DraftKings profile, so he's got that questionable tag.
He always plays.
There's so many morons out there that are like, oh my god, like, dude, that guy for the last
plays every game.
He's missed one game his whole career, dude.
On top of that, it's prime time.
Yeah,
and these players know when they're in prime time, and guys like Hopkins know when they're in prime time. And I hate going over AK for anyone. I've always been that guy. This might be the week. He's projected at 12%. My projections. I mean, and people are going to be riding towards Christian Kirk after his 2-touchdown game last week. The reality is Hopkins always has 3+ touchdown potential, 10+, 15+ catch potential.
Yeah.
Hopkins potential he's a 10K receiver if you really want to think about it. His potential is so high that he's in prime time.
So one thing I like to compare it to is last week Justin Jefferson had like 40 something points. Like, you don't think that DeAndre Hopkins can score 40 points this week? Like,
you might score 50.
Exactly. And we've got guys like, I'll let you keep going, Vinny, but like Devontae Adams right below him has like 10% more ownership. He's up into the 20s.
Yeah. So that's going to be the biggest thing for me. Like, I really dig Rodgers, but, which obviously if I'm playing Rodgers, I'm going to be playing Adams and it's going to correlate. But if Rodgers or Adams jumps into that like 20+% range as far as chalk, I will lean way more Kyler and Hopkins. Like, that's not a doubt at all. So I love them to a top. I don't know why. I saw his ownership. DK Metcalf is low. I have no idea why. He's scored a touchdown every game this year. That guy's a freaking monster.
So I got he's DK under 15. And Lockett both in 12%. The top 8 receivers.
I think it's just that weird, like,
just a huge player pool.
No, like, I think that a lot of people are just fucking morons, and they're like, oh, they moved this game to Sunday night. I'm gonna go in and change out my lineups real quick because like these guys aren't in the slate anymore.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're playing in a tournament with 30,000 people, you really think all 30,000 people or even half of those people realize that game is on the slate? Like,
that's true.
I really don't think they do. I mean, there's people that make lineups on like Thursday and they'll only go and change somebody out if they like see like the game was moved or that like they're hurt.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean,
I hear you. I feel like I do need to get a piece of Stephon Diggs. I'm not going to be playing Josh Allen, but this feels like a get right game for the Bills versus
big fan of that.
The Adam Gases, and he's going to be probably really low owned for a guy that could catch 3 touchdowns on Sunday. So
big fan.
Diggs is on my high list there. Galladay, Keenan Allen, obviously. One sneaky guy that I do like because I like Joe Burrow, and this guy plays his ass off and scorches bad teams and never shows up in big games, but this is a bad defense. I will be playing quite a bit of Odell Beckham. He smashes versus bad defenses, and I love.
Well, you also heard their top corner on Cincinnati is out this week.
I mean, it doesn't.
I just hope that doesn't drive his ownership to the roof.
Odell in his career smashes bad defenses. He crushed Cincinnati last time. He's beaten Dallas's ass this year. Outside of that, he hasn't done anything. So we get Cincinnati again. This is a get right for him. Like,
so here's
how he makes his money.
Here's something to support your cause, Vinny. Austin Hooper's out. He's having his appendix removed.
Yeah, that came out like an hour ago.
So
what a wimp.
I mean, yeah, fuck me, right?
Yeah, dude.
Buckle up your chin strap.
I like that call. I
just think against a bad defense. Yeah. And again, if I'm going to be heavy on Burrow, I got to bring it back. Landry's not right with his injury. Like, he's toughing it out, but like,
I got OBJ going, and because of all the reasons you just said, but what scared me was on ESPN. For all of our fans that just go off of what ESPN says, nothing all they talked about today was how Cincinnati's corner is out. and OBJ is going to kill it, and Twitter's losing their mind. And that's what scares me with it. It's like, okay, all these pedestrians are going to jump on OBJ again.
But ownership doesn't reflect that, right? Like these are, lambs that are just following like Yahoo, seasonal league and stuff like that. I think Odell's in kind of an interesting price point where he's like not super cheap, but he's not expensive either. Like I can fit Odell into a lot of lineups. So I will go there where I can. Really love T. Higgins. Terry McLaurin, we talked about. I mean, he's catching 2 touchdowns on Sunday for sure. As much as I can get him in. Some of just the sleepers and low price guys, which I'm sure you guys have on your target too. There's no one else in New Orleans. So I'll be playing Traquan Smith. He's like 4,100. Like even if he busts at that price, like it doesn't really kill my lineup, but there's no one else. Like, so I'll play him. I'll have some Gabriel Davis again at that price point versus the Jets. Like if they go up maybe 2 scores, like, they're going to pull Diggs. Gabe Davis is going to play the full game. So, he could catch some garbage time touchdowns there. And Joe, you hit on him a little bit. I do like Deebo Samuel. They're getting creative with him. He's 5K.
Dude, Deebo is one of those guys, like I was talking about Fant last week, before Fant got rolled out. But he just looks like he's above his game right now.
He's a good player, man.
Deebo not just belongs, but when he has the ball in his hand, he's dominating. He's making people miss. Deebo is accelerating, right? Like, and you can just see that with certain players, and Deebo is doing that right now. No matter how much coverage you put on him or whatever, you give him the ball, he's accelerating as a player right now.
Yeah, he's a gamer. Last guy before I turn it over, because I know we're kind of eating up a lot of time here. Do not forget about Laviska Shenault, who had a bust of a game and burned a shitload of people last week. He's in that game in San Diego that we talked about that could go off. I think a lot of people are going to go to Keelan Cole. Shenault is still, super explosive and a good player. So I think he's like 4,500. So you can get him into a lot of places.
Yep. All right, cool. So I'm going to go bottom up. The one guy I really like this week at 3,600 is Dontrell Inman for Washington Redskins against the Cowboys. 3,600. And the guy's getting targets, and like you guys were talking about Kyle Allen. I'm not going to go a Kyle Allen stack with Inman, but I do like Inman individually as a low guy. But like I said, I really like my high-owned running backs this week, and I really love my low-owned. Put it this way, I got 5 high-owned receivers in my pool, 4 mid, and I have 11 low-owned receivers in my pool. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but some of my favorites. I love Inman at 3.6.
That's a good call.
Mike Williams at 4.7. I love Mike Williams and the whole Chargers slate with Herbert. To bounce off the OBJ thing, I love Landry. Landry's down to 4.6, and Landry can get you a touchdown with 8 grabs, right? You can, the whole Baker thing with Cleveland and who knows what. Landry is always one of those guys that's going to give you a sneaky game, and 4.6 is just too low for Jarvin Landry. Johnson for Pittsburgh, Deontay Johnson, he is 4,200. That is just way too cheap. I know Chase Claypool has been going off, but that's because Deontay Johnson hasn't been in the lineup. Deontay Johnson is going to get grabs, and 4,200 is just too low. I love that just too much. I love Debo at 5K. I love Ruggs at 4,800. Ruggs being moved into the slate definitely changed some things. So having Ruggs as that big play, I mean, he had 2 catches for 120 yards in his last game. So I really like Ruggs. I love T. Higgins with my Burrow lineups at 53. Even JJ Juju is 5,500, right? That's way too low for Juju. I know Tennessee's got a great defense, whatever, but they don't have individual guys to just shut down receivers. So I really like Pittsburgh this week. I don't have any Ben going, but I'm going to have a lot of Juju and Deontay Johnson going. If I'm moving up a little bit, Keenan Allen's my absolute guy with Herbert. Keenan Allen and Herbert are going to be most of my stacks this week. I love Terry McLaurin by himself. Again, no Allen stacks. McLaurin will not be with Inman. Those will be completely separate. If I'm going up, Hopkins is my guy. I'm laying off Adams this week, not because I don't like Adams, but he's going to go over 20, 25% owned. So I love Hopkins around 12% with that primetime slate. But my absolute favorite this week is Julio. Julio is back. Julio doesn't have an injury report. Julio is Ryan's guy. Ridley has gone off. Ridley is more expensive than Julio. Julio is the guy. And Julio is coming in around 12th in ownership right now. I'm sorry, but Julio is the guy. Julio is still the man. When he's not hurt, he has a chance to put up, 200 yards with 15 catches. He might not get you a touchdown because the guy doesn't know how to score, but 15 catches over 200 yards. Julio is the man at 7.1. I love him. I'm all in on that. But most of all, I'm going really low priced at receivers this week. I'm going to try to just, apples in the barrel or fish in the barrel. Let's go.
Same thing. James, sardines in the can.
I was going to say bobbing for apples, but
yeah,
I'm drinking scotch.
For me, my top three guys are Hopkins, Allen, Galladay, and McLaurin. Those are four. 1, 2, 3, 4. I learned how to count at some point. Those are going to be my top 4 highest owned guys. I'll fit pieces in where they need to fit around that, but those all correlate really well with the quarterbacks that I like this week.
God, Galladay burned my ass last week so bad, but
dude, he was making big plays too, man.
I know.
He got 3 catches, all 25 plus. Like he was.
Again, he's a guy that's he's just too far. He should be priced up more.
Yes.
Same with Stephon Diggs. He should be priced up more. He's getting a market share. He's going to be going up against Pierre Desir a lot of the time, and that guy is just absolute dust. He is just terrible. I'm surprised, Joey, you didn't mention Jamison Crowder if you're so high on Darnold. I
got Perryman late in here.
Well, that's fine. Perryman is just who knows, right? Jamison
Crowder's too obvious right now.
Well, that's fine. He's got a top 10 matchup rating in the slot against Cameron Lewis, and he's just gonna keep getting 8 to 11 targets a game. And like you said, they're gonna be down. They can't pass protect very well. Darnold with his shoulder maybe can't throw it too far. That's why I mentioned it earlier. I'm certainly gonna have some Tyreek Hill. Just nobody's talking about him. And again, and usually those weeks when no one's talking about Tyreek Hill is when he has the 7 catches for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. People are going to say, well, it's kind of bad weather in Denver and blah 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 blah. Who cares? They play in Kansas City. It's shitty weather there too. It's cold weather there, and they still put up 50 a game. That's fine. One guy that not a lot of people are talking about this week. That has a great matchup and that this team is just going to be throwing. He's kind of quiet. They had a bye last week, but Robbie Anderson, he's got a top 8 matchup rating this week against Patrick Robinson. And he's the guy that they've just, wanted to go to. DJ Morris had a good game the last time out. But he's the guy that I think this week on the Panthers is someone's going to have to get the ball. And I think that game could go a little bit higher total than a lot of people think. I'm not going to get to Teddy B or anything this week, but Robbie Anderson is a guy that I certainly have appeal to. Continuing on down, the guy who is just no doubt the number 1 receiver in Denver now, Tim Patrick, in a game where the Chiefs are going to be up and Denver is going to have to be throwing. Tim Patrick's just going to get the ball a lot. I know that Jerry Jeudy is the name that everyone likes to gravitate toward, and he's a good player. But Patrick's out-touched him and has more targets than him in every single game coming down the line here. I like the Texans, so I'm going to go back to Brandon Cooks. I think they're going to focus on shutting down Will Fuller as much as possible, and we all know Will Fuller could just get hurt, pull his hamstring. So I'm going to have quite a bit of Brandon Cooks. If we're going down, Vinnie, you kind of already talked about T. Higgins. For the Arizona game, if we're going all the way down, I know that everyone was in love with Christian Kirk. And he hit that big one. No, I'm not playing any Larry Fitzgerald. I'm playing the other guy that they took 3 deep shots to and unfortunately didn't connect on any of them.
Oh, yeah,
but
you
at
love yourself.
3,900, Andy Isabella. it could have just as easily been Andy Isabella catching that deep pass instead of Christian Kirk. They're taking deep shots to these guys, and they're going to continue to do so. And in a game, late night hammer, $3,900. No one's going to play this guy. I love pairing him up with Kyler and Hopkins and running it back with like Chris Carson and Tyler Lockett. I like Lockett a little bit more this week. I think Patrick Peterson, they're going to try and focus and take away that real big deep ball to Metcalf this week. And I think anytime Tyler Lockett gets 8 targets or more, he goes over 100 yards. Anytime he gets 10 targets or more, he goes over 130 yards. And I think he's going to fall somewhere between the 8 to 10 target range this week in a really high-scoring game. So he's my favorite run back option in game stacks with those guys.
Last thing I'll say on receivers, a guy that we didn't touch on, I know I hit on his counterpart, DJ Chark being 5,500. He had 14 targets for 45 yards last week. Like,
I gotta see if he's healthy. He
has no injury designation. That's what I just saw. So that's why I'm kind of mentioning him.
They took it off today.
My only thing with that is that offense. DJ Chark's good. Don't get me wrong. It's just like when Allen Robinson was with Jacksonville, right? Like, he's the fucking man.
But 14 targets last week, like,
I know,
dude. If he gets
traveling
10
with 1 day preparation, I think San Diego. It's not even going to be a game.
I'm going to make a bold prediction here. Like, I think the highest scoring receivers come out of this 5K range on DK. You've got back to back here, real quick. You've got under 6K: Terry McLaurin, Chase Claypool, DJ Moore, DJ Chark, Juju, T. Higgins, Brandon Cooks. Like, dude, the 5K range is elite. Like, I may just stick and roll with the 5K range and pay up at running back and Tyler.
Dude, that's what I was saying. Even the 4K range are solid WR2 with upside.
It's insane.
In the 4K, I got 5 guys here in the 4K that are solid WR2s with upside. I mean,
it's like Tim Patrick is 4,600. He's their wide receiver 1.
Yeah,
right.
It's like insane.
He's going to lead the team in targets.
Look at a Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is 4,400.
Yeah,
what? Against the no, I know, but against the Falcons,
I think he's just dust.
What? All right, let's
always do for a couple of massive games.
Tight ends and defense, real quick, and we'll get out of here. Joe, tight ends. Who's your top guys and a few?
High end. I love Kelsey. Kelsey just always happens to be in the game plan, and I feel like you can't game plan against Kelsey because there's so many weapons on that team. Kelsey is Patrick Mahomes' safety net. They got a connection. They've had it for 2 years. 6,300. That's even though he's high end, that's low for Kelsey. So I like Kelsey at 6,300. I love Fant at 4,800 because Fant is an absolute monster. And Fant's probably be matched up against guys like Sorensen. So I am all in on Fant. I was just hoping Fant would be lower priced, but at 4,800, I can't complain too much. I love Hunter Henry with Herbert. I love the Herbert Henry stack. A guy I'm not sure yet, I might play as Dalton Schultz, the Dalton Connect, because Andy Dalton can't throw to a receiver. So Dalton Schultz at 3,900, I might be a little bit in on that, not because they're good, because they have to. And 2 guys, Herndon, just because, and he's let everyone down. Everyone's off him. I mean, it's not good.
He's let everyone down because he sucks, dude. Don't play Chris.
Yeah, but I don't think Herndon does suck. It's not like he's dropping passes.
He does, though. What has he done?
Don't play Chris.
Okay, it's Gates, dude. Okay, at 3,000 in my Millie Darnold stack, Herndon's gonna be in it.
Jim, if Chris Herndon catches a touchdown, will you tase yourself?
No, because it's certainly a possibility, dude. But like,
will you like punch yourself in the stomach?
Yeah, sure. I'm probably going to be pretty hammered on Sunday. Because
I just require a shotgun of a beer with a slam on the head. It's all I require, and I know you enjoy that, so I won't do that.
That's
so
fine.
My last guy at tight end is the Joker, Njoku. Hooper had appendix surgery today. Njoku is an athlete. He is what he is. He does sneak a touchdown every now and again. $3,000. I'll take Njoku to get a touchdown. Fuck it.
Jim, who'd Joe leave off, or who are you super high on?
I mean, I get that, Joe wants to play Travis Kelce, and that, that's all good and grand, but I've got his ownership coming in at 26% right now.
I know. Awful. And trust me, guys, and everyone listening to this right now, if Kelsey is at 25 plus, I'm sorry, that's a full fade. I'm not taking a tight end at 25%. Sorry, guys.
I'm playing Kelsey. Anytime Mahomes is on the slate, I'm going to play a Kelsey, Hill, Mahomes stack. Outside of that, if I'm going to pay up for tight end, I'm paying for George Kittle. He's coming in at 10 to 12% owned. I'll pay the extra $200 to get away from that ownership. He's a guy that this is a game that the Niners are not just going to walk all over the Patriots, that he's going to be the focal point of the offense. Raheem Mostert no longer in. Him and Debo are now the focal points of the offense. Make no mistake about it. So if I'm paying up, I'm going to Kittle. TJ Hawkinson at 5,000 coming in at 5 to 6%. High total game. I really, really, really like that. I like that way more than playing. I would rather play him over Marvin Jones, just because of the price. I can't get to Njoku. I just can't do it. I'm going back to Ebron, where I think that he's got good touchdown equity at 400 or at 4,000.
I was trying to get you to laugh, Jim. Sorry.
I actually don't mind a good old Anthony Ferkser at 3,000.
Dude, come on.
Hey.
All right, whatever.
He's shown that he's going to be involved even when Jonnu's in the game, and Jonnu's been banged up. So Jonnu goes out of the game. They've just shown. I mean, they're going to use him with him in there anyway. So why not, right? I looked at Hayden Hurst. I don't really know.
I'm off Hayden, man. Matt Ryan doesn't like him. It's all there. It's all there for him. But
100%.
It's obvious that he's not Matt Ryan's guy. When Julio's in the lineup, especially.
There's just something about him I don't like. I don't even know what it is.
I was on him, and trust me, he got me my value, right? In some weeks, he got me my value. Yeah, he sneaked a touchdown last week and all that good stuff. But again, Matt's just not hitting him, man. It's not a target for him.
The one guy I'll keep going back to, he's been involved, and again, late night hammer, old third leg Greg, 3,600 coming in at less than 1% owned.
What's your name?
Yep. I mean,
T-Reg, what you do?
Oh my God.
I mean, so that's kind of where I'm going. Chris Herndon. I'd rather get my my nose pierced than play Chris Herndon.
Wait. Is that a bet?
No. I will have some.
You get the Zeke bull ring and double piercing if Herndon scores a touchdown this week.
No, there's no chance I'm making that bet. But I mean, I'm with Joe. I'll play some Dalton Schultz as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Only guy I think you guys didn't touch on that I will have some of that I alluded to at the very beginning of the show is I will have some Jared Cook now with all the receivers out in New Orleans. I know he's not getting a ton of opportunity share. But
it's a good play. You're right on the money. I mean, it's a sharp play. He's like going to be 2% owned.
There's just no one else, dude.
I just hate Jared Cook.
I know. I don't love him either, but he is a guy that I
sucks.
feel like will snipe, even with everyone in a touchdown or two here and there. So,
dude, yeah, Jared Cook is a sniper, dude. He did it with the Raiders. He's doing it with the Saints. The guy's a sniper.
If he gets in the red zone, just watch out there.
But he had like one catch for 35 yards and a touchdown last week, and got everyone their money in the primetime game. That's Jared Cook for you.
Much.
All right. Defenses. Let's just rifle through these real quick. I have 4 that I'm playing.
I've got 2, so this will be easy.
Bills.
I got 3.
I will play the Chargers. I will play the Bucks, and I will play the Washington Potato Skins.
Okay, I'm playing the Potatoes, and I'm playing the Jets. Those are the only 2 defenses I'm playing.
Hey, I like that.
Jets are $2,000. They're gonna put up points. At very, very worst, you could take a -3, but only one time this year have the Jets just gotten 0 points. They haven't gotten minus. So they've gotten 6 points, 2 points, 8 points, 0, 4, and 7. So if they're even somewhere in the middle and get me 5 at $2,000, what I can get by going up and getting away from the chalk, because the Potatoes are definitely going to be the chalkiest defense of the week. I had some consideration for the Chargers, but anything above that, I just don't think it's worth it this week. The Bills are 4,700.
The only thing I'll say though, dude, is last week we've talked about this. Like this is the same thing that we've all agreed upon until the Steelers put up 19 points on defense, or a team puts up 20 with a pick six and this and that.
The Steelers weren't 4,700 last week; they were 36.
No, I get that, but you're looking at
it's $900 less.
Right, but we talk about a $4,700 receiver if they get 20 points, you're in business.
I think a guy. Well, but
I don't think the Bills' defense is very good, so I agree with you on that. I'm just saying, paying up for a defense, I'm changing my stance a little bit on if they're a good defense in a good spot. You know what I mean?
If they were 4,000, I'd play them.
That's
47 at 4,700.
Yeah,
I could play Keelan Cole, Mike Williams, Jarvis Landry, Michael Gallup, Tim Patrick, Adam Humphries. Those are all guys that I would rather pay.
Totally.
4,700 to 4,600 for Shenault, 4,500. Marvin Jones, 4,400. I think those are all guys because the Bills could easily just put up 10 or 12 points, and if they do that, it's not worth the 4,700.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just not overcomplicating it this week. I'll play the potatoes. I'll play the Jets, and then like I said, I might get to the Chargers in 1 or 2. But again, if I have the salary there and it's my last position I'm filling out, okay, whatever. I'll just play the Chargers in this one. But time I'm starting building my lineups, just putting in the potatoes or the Jets, and then building from there.
Totally. Joe, we miss anyone?
No, the Chargers are my favorite this week. I know Jim wants to sprinkle them. Chargers are my favorite. Jacksonville again is traveling a 7-hour flight all the way to Los Angeles in one day, and they have to play a game within 24 hours. And that's on top of not having a good offense in the first place. I think the Chargers are going to have a great week. They are priced up exactly where they should be at 3,400. They are my absolute favorite. I might sneak some Pittsburgh in there because I do think Pittsburgh's defense is that good. Tennessee, they have proven it. They are the real deal on offense. But could it be the week where Pittsburgh says, yeah, you're good, but you're not Super Bowl good. You're not conference championship good. So that might be the week for Pittsburgh at 3.5. And if I'm going to pay down, I'm going with the potatoes at 2.5. There's just too much sack potential. I'll take sack potential all day long when it comes to DFX, especially at 2,500 with a depleted Cowboys offensive line, with an invigorated Washington defensive line. And Washington has one of the best blitz percentages in the NFL. So
Dalton just does weird shit with the ball too. You saw it in the last game. He tries to flip it at people's backs and
dude, he's not taking hits. I wouldn't either.
He thinks
he's getting hit aneway. It's dude, just
he's a lot better than he is.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton thinks he's a lot better than he is, and he's not bad. If he knew how to manage a game, he could actually pull this team to some fucking reality.
It's because he's got red hair.
He thinks he's a lot better than he is.
And he's got a complex, or he needs to
maybe 5 years ago he could, but he just might be dust now.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling Miami and say, hey, I'll give you a 5th round pick for Fitzpatrick right now. No. And as weird as that sounds, the freaking Cowboys can still go win that division.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think they can do it with Andy Dalton.
No, exactly. And that's why the potatoes this week might potentially get 6+ sacks.
No doubt.
Well, and that's why they're going to be the highest owned defense this week.
That's fine. I'll take a high owned defense and go low owned everywhere else. That doesn't matter. As long as you're not high owned across the board, you guys are going to be fine.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, where are they at? Oh, okay. Well, they're getting a lot more talked up than I'm showing them at ownership. I'm showing them between 7 to 10%. So
I don't even care if they're 20, dude. Whatever.
Right. Yeah, 20 is fine.
They're not. No defense is ever going to get to 20.
That showing that Dallas put out last week was absolutely disgraceful. So I'll go with that all day.
I feel like that projection is just wildly wrong.
I agree.
I feel like they're going to be at least 15% owned. And like I said, I'm not going to go change my defense out just because of ownership. I'm not going to flip to the Titans or the Falcons. Just give me the potatoes and
yeah, exactly. They're the highest owned at 12% right now. At 12%, that's fine.
No doubt.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, boys. I think that pretty much wraps it up. So let's win some money this week, huh? What do you think?
Let's get it. This
Feeling
is the
pretty
week.
Good.
All right.
I'm going to be checking the news on the golf course tomorrow. So
hey, there you go. I know you invited me to go play, but it's my little one's birthday, so I would be in the doghouse for a while if I went and played.
Yeah,
but
just maybe.
But yeah, give us a follow. I'm Vinnie Levine29 on Twitter.
DFS Joey Levine.
I'm at JJ McIntosh.
And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Good luck, y'all. Later.